Shop talk, shy it, shutty up, day, up, shop tie, shutty up, shop talk.
Woke me up this morning, started me on my way, gave me grace and strength, see a brand new day. I wanna give you glory, I wanna give you praise, I wanna give you honor, I wanna give you thanks, I wanna thank you, Lord, for waking me up this morning. I wanna thank you, Lord, for starting me on my way. I wanna thank you, Lord, been so good to me. Thank you, Lord, you've been so good to me. Can I say it again? You woke me up this morning, started me on my way. Yes, sir. Gave me grace and strength, see a brand new day. I wanna give you glory, I wanna give you praise, I wanna give you honor, I wanna give you thanks, I wanna thank you, Lord, for waking me up this morning. I wanna thank you, Lord, and for starting me on my way. I wanna thank you, Lord, been so good to me. Thank you, Lord, you've been so good to me. I thank you, Lord, for what you've done. Thank you, Lord, for sending your son. I thank you, Lord, for sending your son. Thank you, Lord, for saving me. I thank you, Lord, for saving me. Thank you, Lord, for setting me free. I thank you, Lord, for setting me free. That is why I want to thank you, Lord. Hey, for waking me up this morning. I want to thank you, Lord. Yeah, and for starting me on my way. I want to thank you, Lord. Been so good to me. Thank you, Lord. You've been so good to me. I want to thank you, Jesus. Ooh, thank you, Lord. I want to thank you, Jesus. After all you've done for me, thank you, Lord, for how you set me free. I want to thank you, Jesus. You brought me out. Thank you, Lord. Without a doubt, I want to thank you, Jesus. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Lord. Can I testify here? I want to thank you, Jesus. You opened doors for me. Thank you, Lord. Now I can plainly see. Thank you, Jesus. And I need you. Thank you, Lord. Yeah. Thank you, Jesus. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thank you, Lord. Hey, I just want to say thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Ooh, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Jesus. I just want to say tonight, thank you. Thank you, Lord. What is going on, y'all? It is your man D Toe. It is another day's journey, and yes, I am super D duper glad about it. Thank you for everyone who's hanging out with us already. We have an power packed show. We're going to condense today's show down to 1 hour. I have another event I got to participate with. Be a part of at the top of the hour. Can you tell I'm excited? I'm so excited I'm tongue-tied. Anyway, want to give a shout out and a welcome to everyone who is hanging out with us. If you don't know as of yet, let me tell you, you're tuned in to Shop Talk right here on Freedom Radio, whether you're watching us on Facebook, whether you're watching us on YouTube, or whether you're listening to us on freedomradio.com, whomsoever you might be, no matter where you're listening, we are glad to have you hanging out with us. It's going to be a great, great show. Listen, before we do anything, you know what you got to do. You got to get on the phone, call, text, tweet, Facebook, MySpace, Instagram. Social Cam, Periscope, Marco Polo. But do whatever you got to do to tell your mama them, Ray Ray, Shay Shay, Day Day, Delicious them, Nut Nut them, Pojo them. Let them all know that for the next hour today we're going to do what we call shop talk, and that is we're going to do what we always do. We're going to keep it shop talkish, where literally no person and no subject is off limits. If this is your first time tuning in and you're trying to figure out, hey, what is this whole shop talk phenomenon? Let me tell you what it is. It's that good beauty shop, that barber shop, that coffee shop, that nail shop, and that ikanache. Thank you, Lord Jesus. That donut shop talk, where literally no person and no subject is off limits. If you haven't figured out as of yet, my name is Demetrius Tollfree. It says so right there. And you can follow me on social media at DTollfree. That is on Facebook. That's on Twitter. That's on Instagram. That's on Clubhouse if you're on there. Matter of fact, if you're on Venmo, you can test out Venmo at DTollfree, as well as if you have Cash App and you just need to test out if you can send somebody $1,000 or whatever. Hey, don't worry. Try it out on me. Money sign DTollfree at DTollfree. Whatever you got to do, hit me up. Let me know if it works. And, shoot it to me. I'll send it back to you if you need it. But it's going to be an absolutely amazing time out. Now, before I bring up any co-hosts, let's give some shout outs to some people hanging out with us this morning. Shout out to my homegirl, Kirsten Williams, who is already in the virtual building. Shout out to Diamond Fee. Happy belated birthday to Diamond Fee. I know you had a birthday over the last couple of days and just want to say it again. Happy birthday. Shout out to Cambria Mayfield watching us on YouTube today. I think that's new to have them on YouTube, but thank you for tuning in. Shout out to the homie in Sacramento, California, Azizi Lord in the virtual building as well. Shout out to Stacy Williams Tucker. She's hanging out with us. Cynthia Lewis, who's chiming in, talking about the DToll tune that we played to open up the show. Thank you so very much for all your love and support. Shout out to my first cousin on my daddy's side, on the Tollfree side, Linnell Jonigan hanging out with us as well. Shout out to Sherilyn Frazier. I see you. Talking about good morning. I see you. It has been a minute. We are glad to have you hanging out with us. Shout out. Welcome. Good morning to Deborah Shirley Piggies, who is shouting us out. And this is the mom of Jermaine and Tremaine. They are my graybeard brothers. She is hanging out with us as well. Sherilyn Frazier has she's laughing at my dissertation of when I Ray Ray, Shay Shay, Day Day, Delicious Nim, Nut Nut Nim, Pojo Nim. It's all good. Shout out again to Deborah, who is hanging out with us. Tracy J. Wilson, what is going on? Glad to have you hanging out with us. To my neighbor, as well as a constituent from my church, Gay Harris in the virtual building. It is all good. And Diamond Feet says that her birthday was yesterday, which I knew that. And but she says she got a Shop Talk t-shirt on her birthday. Okay, ma'am. Awesome. That is good stuff. Glad to have you hanging out with us. As a matter of fact, today I am rocking my Freedom Radio mug today. I'm doing something a little bit different. This is purchasable as well on freedomradio.com/shop. So if you haven't gotten any Freedom Radio gear, tell me what you think. I like this one. I have hot chocolate today hanging out in my cup. Shout out to the homie Sidria Clark hanging out with us today from Stockton, California. I can't go into all my dissertations about what I think about Stockton and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, Gay Harris shouts out and says that there was a fantastic photo shoot for Freedom Radio a week or so ago. She is right. We did show some of those pictures a couple of days ago, and we're making progress. We are in our anniversary season. Freedom Radio just turned 10 years old a few days ago. As of April 1st, we are now 10 years old. And we are excited about it. Now, normally I would be leading up to some big event, but this year we're doing some different things. We're rebranding. you will notice that Yolanda Wild Praise Morant has updated our logo. That was step one. We have already updated our website. That was step two. But now the big project that we're working on is we are updating the Freedom Radio app. We are getting ready to rebrand and repurpose the whole app and make things happen, make it more user friendly, and so much more. Shout out to my dude, Took, Pastor Took Mallinson, Tooketh, Doc Rock. Glad to have you hanging out with us, man. It is all to the good. All right, y'all. Let's get ready to bring up my first co-host. I just mentioned her a moment ago, out in the North Kakalaki, Charlotte, to be exact. And I don't know how much longer she'll be there. We'll talk about that, or she'll talk about that at the appropriate time. But as of this very moment, she is out in the North Kakalaki, Charlotte, North Carolina, singer extraordinaire, graphic designer extraordinaire, as well as just an all-around smart person, thanks to her mom and them and all of her great family. Let's bring her up, my homie, Yolanda Wild Praise Morant. Yolanda, good morning. How are you?
Hi, good morning. How y'all doing? Everybody good?
All is well. Glad to have you hanging out with us. And I'm not going to put you on the screen big yet, but I'm glad to see you smiling early in the day. So this is good. We're going in the right direction.
Yeah, we can talk about it whenever you say I can, but I had a great discovery. So first of all, good morning, everyone. In virtual land, I had a great discovery over the weekend. So whenever you say
what was the discovery? It's just me and you. It's just me and you. So what was the discovery?
Short form is I decided to do Ancestry.com DNA origins.
I did see that.
Yes, so I decided to do that, and I did it during Black Friday. Got the discount, whatever have you. They send the kit to you. You send back a sample. Sample came back. It takes 6 to 8 weeks, and so I got a search came up for a young lady who looked very familiar, but I thought there's no way her and I could be related. But the crazy part is not that we're just related. It's that I've known her for quite some time. We sang together in a group called Michael Williams and Eternal Life. She came in kind of the middle part of it. And we had rode in the car together. We had sang on the mic together and never knew that we are double cousins.
Whoa, double cousins.
Which I didn't know existed. So what happened was she sent me an inbox on Saturday morning. And she said, she didn't even send me say anything. She sent me a screenshot that said, we're related. Hello, good morning, Miss Deborah. She sent me, let me say the part. So people say, why do I always say Miss and Mr.? Okay, my mom was very, very country. And so I was raised in the South. And so she always told me to be respectful, be kind, and you address someone. You never call anyone by their first name. You address them by saying Miss so-and-so or Mr. so-and-so. So I know people think, I don't think you're old or going out here. It's just, that's just the way I was raised.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So that part. So she screenshot me this photo, and then she went to say, I think we're related. But I'm like, how would we be related? Well, her dad and my dad, my biological dad, her biological dad are cousins.
Wow.
Her grandfather and my grandfather were brothers.
Whoa.
And they married sisters.
Wow.
And so that makes us what we call, probably only in the Black community, what we call double cousins. Yeah. So from that, first of all, let me say I'm not being paid. Freedom Radio is not being paid. Ancestry, we don't know Ancestry. I don't know them, but Ancestry.com DNA origins definitely work. I've gotten a couple inboxes now from a couple other people. They may be further down the line, but her and I are definitely related. So the additional part is that I have never seen any photo. I've never met, nor have I seen any footage or photos of my dad's parents, my biological grandparents. I don't know them. My grandmother died in 2016, right before I moved to Charlotte. So I want to be very clear. I have never seen them. I don't know what they look like. The last time I would have had any idea of them, I was like a 2-year-old, right? So I don't recall things from that age. So, and one day, she said, we started talking back and forth. Oh my God, this is crazy. I'm crying. It's like, all emotional. I'm getting my nails done. The lady's like, you what, boy? Like, it's like a whole bunch going on. She sent me photos of my grandparents. First time I had ever seen them. So you can imagine it was a very emotional day. I almost literally ran down through the Walmart aisle. And it was a lot to take in. And so I'm going home in June. Her and I are going to sit down and talk. I'll get to meet some more of my relatives. Then the next day, so I called my aunties and I told her what happened. And I started explaining to her how important, our history was, and how, she was like, oh, I don't want people in my business. You know how older saints feel about social media.
Yeah.
And she said, but maybe, she was kind of opening up, and I felt just pressed to share with her what I had experienced and how important it was to lay the foundation for our heritage and be open about talking. The next day, Sunday morning, she called me. Oh, thank you, Lord. She okay. She found her son that she been for 5 years.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Nope.
So it was let me first say, it was one of the best weekends I've had in a really long time. And so I just want to say this, though, if I can. I know I want to encourage this, because some, family situations are kind of tough sometimes. And for some reason, we as African American people, we tend to hold on to something, man, almost until we take it with us to Jesus. And you do know when you get there, okay. So nobody's going to know about you but you and him. And so I just want to encourage you, no matter how you got here or how your children got here, they're here. And don't withhold information from them, because you're trying to really, honestly, in my really respectful opinion, you're trying to really protect yourself.
Yeah.
And so in protecting yourself, you harm future generations from knowing where they came from, why they have these certain traits, even down to your health. She told me there's a rare, very rare, which we're not claiming or receiving, but there is a very rare disease that runs through my biological dad's side, right? So I just want to encourage you not to do that, because you don't know, your child may end up with some type of issue with skin, and you don't know why they had that, but you don't know that your grandmother's grandmother's grandmother had X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Or you don't know why you have a attraction to fashion. Well, my auntie used to sew. Why do I sing? Oh, my grandmother sang. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So when you withhold information that could really change the shaping and molding of the future.
Wow. That's good stuff. You know what? And I promise you, I am not getting emotional today. I'm not. But that is great information that you shared. I am super glad that you shared it with us, and I'm glad that you found out these great things about your heritage, about your family, where you come from, who you're related to. Listen, we don't have those like we used to back in the day. Like my father was, those people who knew the family tree backwards and forwards on both sides. They could sit you down and could tell you who begat who and all that kind of stuff. We don't have those historians in our families like we used to any longer. And so thankful we have things like Ancestry.com who can help us go in the right direction and find out who we are related to. That's good stuff. Listen, not only do we have Yolanda hanging out with us out there in North Carolina, but hanging out with us, I don't know where she is, but she'll tell us, but hanging out with us, being back from off the road. I think she was in Michigan over the weekend and was in Texas the weekend before. She's doing her thing. She's making things happen. My homegirl and yours is in the building, Ashlyn Tara Cole. Ashlyn, girl, what is going on?
What's going on, everybody? I don't have headphones. I hope that you can hear me. I'm making it work. I'm MacGyvering. my situation today. We're going to got a MacGyver spirit. Wow. I came in on the back end of that conversation, and it reminded me of when my mother passed and I got a copy of her birth certificate. I had never seen it before. And I think this happens a lot in families, but when I got her birth certificate, my mother's name was Renee. Everybody called her Renee. It wasn't no other name, maybe for short. In Ireland, they said Reenie. Reenie was the pronunciation with the accent. But when I got her birth certificate, her name was Catherine Elizabeth, or Elizabeth Catherine, or something like that. And I'm like, where did Renee come from? But she was already gone, so I couldn't ask her these questions. Like, was it because it was a Catholic given name that you didn't want to be labeled in that way? Because religion had, religion did my mother wrong. And so I just wish that I could have went back and asked her those questions, and nobody else knew. I asked her brother, and his name is Sean, and his name on his birth certificate for whatever it is John. And so I'm like, what in the world is going on? So again, names in the Bible, right? So I'm thinking like they just got so sick of the Irish Catholic Church. They were like, we out. We're changing our name. Yeah. But yeah, it's amazing the legacy, and we don't really have that. When you read the Bible, Old Testament, and you see and he begat, and he begat, and he begat, and he begat, and he begat. Like some people get sick of that, and they're like, why do we got? But it's heritage, it's legacy, and like I wish I had a begat. I wish I had a begat list. I would post it and frame it and have it up on my wall. I want to know where I begat. I mean, when I found my father, my biological father, I found out that one of his relatives way up signed the Magna Carta. I was like, oh, this is rich. Yeah. This is rich. We didn't got no Magna Carta money, but I just it's interesting. It's interesting those things about our heritage and where we come from. And definitely, we need some begats. We need some begats.
I hear you. I'm telling you, I'm so floored and set back by what Yolanda shared, and so many other people are chiming in on the chat saying those very same things, and they're grateful that she shared it. And you never know. You never know until you start doing research and things of that nature of who you can be related to, or whose family you could be a part of, or who could be a part of your family. And so I think these type of things are necessary, especially since we now have the data available to make those things happen. Go out and find out. Do that ancestry.com. Find out who you related to. Funny story. I was just telling my wife this over the weekend. We was talking about it. We was talking about relatives and stuff like that. My father, who was our family historian, along with my aunt, I have a couple aunts too that know our family history on both sides of the family. And thankfully, my father, a few years back, one of my first cousins was dating a particular girl. And my daddy was old school, like, hey, you dating somebody? Okay, who's her mama? Mm-hmm. And who's her daddy? What church they go to? What's her pastor name? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so this particular time, my father was doing that very same thing, grilling my first cousin, and said, well, who's her mama? Uh-huh. Wait a minute. And who is her daddy? Boy, wait a minute. Now that's your cousin. Boy, you can't be going around dating your cousin. And you got to let her.
That's right.
So, I mean, these type of things are important. So we never know who you related to. My cousin was dating one of our cousins. He didn't know it. I don't know how far they got in their relationship, Jesus. But thankfully, my father was able to have that conversation, find out that he was dating his cousin, and they was able to somehow or another bring that to a close. I don't know if they was in love or whatever, but they was in love because they was cousins. But anyway, it is all to the good. And
I was just going to say, Dito, I'm always coming up with, and everybody's saying good morning to me. Thank you so much. Great morning. Here, Miss Deborah, thank you. My other mom, I've adopted her as my mom. Okay. I've adopted her. I know it doesn't work that way, but thank you. But here's a money-making opportunity, right? I'm full of these, Dito. I'm always putting these out there, but somebody is going to feel this in their spirit and they're going to run with it. But coming up with a way to create a Bible verse for families, the begats, but creating something that's a visual representation of the family tree, right? We have the family tree, but how cool would that be to do it in like a Bible verse, to create that for families? I would love for somebody to do that. for me. But somebody's gonna feel that in their shondo, and they're gonna run with that.
That's
$1 million idea right there. I'm telling you, that is $1 million idea.
I ain't mad at you. Maybe it's your idea for you.
It's not. It's not. I promise you, it's not. It's not. I just give out the ideas. Okay. You could just sow a seed into my ministry when you get that first $1 million when you do that.
I feel you. I am not mad at you. Listen, today's show is going to be going in a bit of a rapid fashion. We're only going to do 1 hour today, so we've got a lot of things that we need to cover in a very short period of time. Speaking of which, we were talking at the very outset of the show. Gabe Harris mentioned it, that we had a lot of things going on about a week or so ago. And listen, one thing that I want to just make sure that we know that Freedom Radio, again, we're 10 years old and we have a lot of things going on. We mentioned that we've already updated the website. Yolanda has already updated the Freedom Radio logo. And we've got a lot of things going on. So much so, I tried to compile it all in a 1-minute video. Take a look at this and let's see what we got. I'll be right back with more in about 62 seconds. Take a look at this. Hey everyone, this is Demetrius Tollfree here with some amazing news that you must hear. Freedom Radio is now officially 10 years old. And to celebrate this milestone, we have introduced a bunch of new FDR gear. We want all of our team members, friends, family, and well-wishers to help us celebrate by purchasing items from our store. We have hoodies in an array of colors and sizes, both pullover and zip up. We have t-shirts, water bottles, Freedom Radio and Shop Talk mugs, iPhone cases, hats, and yes, even masks. Simply go to freedomradio.com/shop. Again, that's freedomradio.com/shop to purchase your items. We appreciate all of your dedication and support for this last decade, and we can't wait to share what's next from your radio station, the People's Station, freedomradio.com.
Freedom music, get into this freedom music.
That's right. We are in our anniversary season. And again, we have so many great items available on freedomradio.com/ I can't do it like Ashland /shop, but it is available. As I told you, I'm rocking my Freedom Radio mug today, filled with hot chocolate. And you see Ashland running back and forth with her Freedom Radio hoodie and so much more. We want to make sure that you do that. Simply go to freedomradio.com/shop and pick out something, whether it's a water bottle, whether it's a phone case, whether it's a t-shirt, whatever it might be. We've got hats. We've got so much stuff going on. It is absolutely amazing. Shout out to Jermaine Tremaine Moore, again, my gray beard brothers who are hanging out with us as well. Thank you, Gay, who shouts out that was a great video. Thank you, ma'am. Are you saying it's great because you were in it? Anyway, glad to have you all hanging out with us. Thank you, Deborah, for the congratulations on 10 years. Now, before we move on, I just want to close out what we were talking about a little bit earlier about the whole ancestry thing. Yolanda Wild Praise Morant has just posted for us in the chat a option for 15% off of your ancestry.com DNA kit, if you so choose to go in that direction. She has posted that link in the chat. You can take a look at it at your leisure and be able to make things happen. Thank you, Yolanda, for sharing that. Again, I'm going to leave it up there just for a few more seconds because you definitely want to be able to do that. And again, it's in the chat. You'll be able to go back to it and be able to see it and all those great things and make things happen. All right, y'all. We have some breaking news from Ashland Cole.
I just got a notification that there is, this is when the prayer warriors need to really come in. We have an active shooter situation at a Long Island Stop and Shop that is still active right this moment. This is New York. Nassau County Police have descended on a Stop and Shop supermarket in West Hempstead where an active shooter situation is underway, according to county officials. So we want to keep them in prayer. And just, when I get notifications like that, we have family all across this great nation. And so definitely want to keep them lifted up in prayers that they get that situation under control now. Thank you, Lord.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that. And we thank you for breaking in with that breaking news. You can tell them old. You can tell them old because I used to watch the ABC News. And when they had to break in, just like what Ashton did, they'd always have that.
I have to put my hand up. Oh,
Right.
yeah, I'm getting a word here. Yes. Back to you, Bob. Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's good stuff. Listen, Shop Talk is where literally no person, no subject is off limits. We always have things happening around here, and you never know what's going to happen next. Normally, we would do birthdays right here. We'll get to it. We'll do our best to get to it before we have gone. But I want to throw it out to Yolanda Morant. She has a story that she wants to share with us today. And she's like, really? What? You going to start? Yeah, we're unscripted. Everything we do at Shop Talk is unscripted. While she's pulling that information up, if you haven't done so yet, if you have not shared today's stream, do us that favor. Just on your Facebook thread, just share today's stream to your friends, your family, your well-wishers. Can see what it is that you're watching. They may want to join in and chime in as well. That's how we have gotten all of these great watchers and listeners every week, is because somebody shared it. And then someone else watched it and said, you know what? I like that show. I'm going to catch up with it next week as well. Anyway, Yolanda Wild Praise Morant has a story that she wants to share. Yolanda, the virtual floor is now yours.
Okay, so COVID-19 deaths are climbing. WHO warns as world records, most cases increasing every single week. So I'm going to summarize this by saying, in other countries like India, the deaths are climbing with COVID. Also, India has been put on the no-fly list for England. So I'm going to summarize this all by saying COVID is not over. And I think it is really important. Let me say this as a person who's traveled abroad. I'm at my house, so, you can't come get me. America is very lazy. We're very lazy, and we are very spoiled, amongst other things, other issues that we have in our, wonderful, great country. And so we often, I think it's very interesting. I'm saying this as a person who serves the faith-based community and other communities, right? We are going back to church, and I'm telling you, I'm a guilty person, okay? So we're going back to church. We're opening services up. And it's like, yes, we serve this amazing, since this is a gospel station, make sure I include everything. Since we serve this amazing, enormous big God, I think sometimes we forget that he's also a God of warning. He is also a God of wisdom. And so I think we need to be careful. Yes, we are getting vaccinated, but the vaccination is not an end all be all. So I think we need to be careful. I'm speaking to me, saying to me too, and to you. We need to be careful. You still need to be washing your hands. You still need to be wearing masks. It's just a mask. It is not that. Listen, every day I buy sanitizer just to buy it. Really, I keep it in bags. I keep it in purses. So it's really not over. It's just a mask. It's not the end all be all. Find your favorite colors, as I've found. Find stuff that matches your clothes. But at the end of it all, people are still getting sick. So be cautious. Be cautious for others. It's like driving. You drive for other people, not for yourself. Put a mask on for other people. Put a mask on for yourself. If you're going to get vaccinated, go ahead and follow through the process properly. Fair warning, the talk is, if you're going to get vaccinated, take a Tylenol, Advil, something like that, the day before or the day of you getting vaccinated.
Nobody told me that.
We're sorry, we didn't know you were going to get vaccinated that day.
You got vaccinated?
I got my first dosage on Sunday. Not to really break in on. So my FEMA has made a satellite office at my church, and so we are now offering on Sunday and Mondays. We are now offering vaccination for the next few weeks. And so Sunday, I went and got my first dosage, and I felt kind of woozy. Came home, I had to go take a nap. woke up, my arm was kind of stinging and all that kind of stuff. But I'm open for it. My wife got the Johnson and Johnson, so I'm definitely praying that the Lord would keep her because she got that dosage that everyone that they're now pulling back off of the availability list. But I got the Pfizer, so my first dosage, and you see me kind of messing with my arm because I still feel a little something tingling on the inside. But it's all to the good. I'm hanging. Yolanda, I agree with you. COVID definitely is not over. As a matter of fact, California, we are starting to open back up, and we're starting to open up with more, allowances. And my whole thing is, I don't think we're opening up because COVID is going away. I think we're opening up because people are starting to go broke. And these business owners and all these other people are starting to complain enough to where they're saying, okay, well, we'll try to make some adjustments. They're trying to impeach our governor because of the things that he's trying to do to keep us safe. So it could be, we could be opening in California in an effort for him not to get impeached. It could be in an effort to try to appease some of these business owners that has been losing out on business because of this. But I was reading in the news that just yesterday, was one of the biggest hospitalization days that we've had ever due to COVID. And people, that's been hush hush over the last however long we've been making things happen. And I don't know what is going on. I'm still wearing my mask. I'm still using sanitizer. I'm still being careful, still being safe. But why are we opening up, and what's the big rush? I mean, I know we want to get back to the normal that we'll never get back to, but what is the whole thing? Why are we rushing things in this situation?
I think people are bored. I think a lot of people, okay, we don't have a lot of time, but I think a lot of people are finding out what their life is and who they really are. And so, it's easy to hide behind, I don't know. Let's say you're the magazine guy. I don't, use the church kids. Let's say you're the magazine guy, right? And you're popular because you always drop the new magazines and Well, now nobody's coming to your stand.
Mm-hmm.
And so your identity is lost. Now, I'm not going to say that's all of it, but I do think that's a lot of what we're experiencing. I think people don't like being caged in. I'm not telling you I do, but I think people don't like being caged in. The divorce rate, I don't have the exact stats, but the divorce rate has increased because so many people are finding out, I didn't really like her, or I didn't really like him. So I think there's a lot going on. I agree with you. Business owners are, I was going traveling somewhere one day headed to the airport. I was in an Uber and I met a bartender. I met a bar owner, and it was a family bar, and they had the bar in their family for like 25 plus years. And it was the first time he said, I'm driving Uber so I can pay the bills because I'm not able to they won't give me my license. So, right now, what do I do? How do I keep my bar? He said, and I was asking him these series of questions like, how are you feeling? Are you okay? He said he had to let people go. And he was, oh man, I almost got emotional when I was talking to the guy because he was saying how he had let people go and he didn't want to. But what other choice did he have? Yeah. So I think in these moments, these are the moments when we, if you're a believer, when you really lean and depend, as my mom would say, on God and who he really is. And so we say we trust Jesus, but we don't really trust him. So you have to do that. It's not easy. It's major. A lot of people are still losing jobs. People are living in their cars. My mom was telling me California is huge for that, right? People are living in their cars. They're living in parking lots. I mean, it's just not an easy time, but I think it makes it harder when we choose not to abide by the rules or regulations that are set.
And it's having an effect. I don't know how it is around the country, but here in California, the whole work at home thing, the whole work at home phenomenon I think, may be here to stay. And because of that, because of COVID, the work at home phenomenon has boosted. And because of that, now we have this big boost in real estate. I don't know if it's everywhere, but here in California, oh my God, where I live, Ashton, where I live, and that this is, like the suburbs from the Bay where I am. And when I first moved here 13 years ago, the house that I live in and the houses around me, probably was selling for like $500,000, $600,000. 600 was high when I moved here. It's been 13 years I've been here. Now, this house and houses around me that they're building that are even smaller than the house that I live in, they're all over $1 million, 1.2, 1.3, $1.4 million. And this boom has just happened just since COVID has hit. I was looking at another house. I was thinking about buying another house, the next exit up the road, in a new development. And about 6 months ago, if I'd have bought it when I first thought about it, I could have got that house for like $700,000. Now I called over there and was looking over there the other day. They're like, yeah, it's 1.4 for that house you were looking at. Yeah, 1.4 mil. And they saying it with a straight face. And it's like, yo, man, I mean, I don't even know how people can afford this stuff. People are losing jobs. People are people aren't commuting. People aren't using public transit. Everything, it's like a trickle down effect. I want to put on the screen what Patricia Farr mentioned, and she said this morning California announced that they are discussing if they should do away with the mask. She said, "I survived it. It's not over. Do what will keep you and others safe, and most of all, pray for one another." Absolutely. Shout out to the queen of this house, Ikanache, Allegra Castor-Tofrey, who chimes in and she says, "Keep your mask on. I don't care what level or color we are in." I get it. Absolutely get it. And you know what I'm saying? It is good. It's getting crazy. Sonny Vaughn, the young homie, chimes in and she says, "People have gotten relaxed and there is no cure to this very deadly virus. We must continuously use wisdom as the Bible instructs us to do so." You got to be able to say it like that. As the Bible, by God, today instructs us to do. I get it. I see you, Delasia. I see you, Karan. I see you, Lori Fairley Green. I see all these different people chiming in. And you know what? Let me just say this, and we'll try to move on. Or if we don't, we don't. But even at churches are starting to open back up in the Bay Area, mine included. And, at first for us, we were doing the whole sign up, because we thought we was going to have a big crowd of people. So we got to do the sign ups for you to come to church or whatever. Listen, after 2 weeks, we did away with the sign ups because people wasn't coming. Had church this past Sunday. People's not coming. When we started church at 8:00, it was just me and the singers and maybe one person in the audience. I mean, people gradually came in, but I think people, especially people of color, we are still like, yo, this is big. It's still going on. And I'm not trying to die today. I got things to do. So, it's like, man, we got to use wisdom. We got to be smart about this whole thing. We got to be vigilant and realize that this whole COVID thing is not over. It's having a major effect on us. I've seen so many people talking about, I've lost this person, and this person during this COVID season due to COVID. And so we got to use wisdom. Ashton, I know you got something to say about it. We got to be smart about this, though.
I mean, we do have to be smart about it. And I think with every season brings the opportunity to really change your lifestyle. And I just think that for whatever reason, we're not embracing this lifestyle. Like, what's the big deal about wearing a mask? I mean, I'm just saying, like, when we first started doing it, yeah, it's a pain. I feel like I got a permanent red spot right here on my nose from wearing a mask every day. You don't get to see people's, facial expressions. It's hard to read if somebody's smiling at you or frowning at you, especially with this climate, in politics. And so, but I feel like this might be a lifestyle, y'all. And the sooner that we embrace it, I mean, don't you want to be protected from germs? I mean, look, I'm a germaphobe. I've been a germaphobe. COVID didn't make me a germaphobe. I've been a germaphobe.
Yeah.
I always carry wipes on the plane, the disinfectant wipes to wipe down the seats, because I don't know who's been in front of me, what they've been picking and where they've been putting it. I don't know. So now I'm like, oh, I'm the normal. Now the person next to me is like, oh, could I have one of those wipes?
Right.
Yes, you can. Absolutely. I brought enough for the whole class. Yeah. So, I embrace it as a lifestyle, and, I guess some people just get stuck in their ways and they not, they don't really want to change. So, I'm I'm with everybody. I got cabin fever just like the next person. I
Yeah.
would love to go back to normal, but I don't think we're going to have a normal because viruses are designed to change, to shift, to adapt. That's what they do. They adapt. So you think like we're gonna get rid of COVID-19 and we're gonna have a COVID-20 and it's a COVID-21 and it's a COVID-22. So I mean, if you look at movies, I mean, I'm not saying that they're prophetic, but I'm saying that there are certain things people have seen in the future and have made movies and written books about it. And it's kind of like, COVID gone wrong and we're living underground and we're doing all kinds of things to protect ourselves. So, if we do it now, make the sacrifices now, maybe tomorrow will be a little brighter and better.
Without a doubt, I agree with you wholeheartedly. As a matter of fact, Delasia put a comment up here that has me a little bit nervous. Delasia said that she had 4 people in her church. They took their masks off and didn't even put them back on. Honey. Don't invite me to your church right now. Listen, everybody in our church, and don't get me wrong, I don't like wearing masks. Let me just be honest with you. I don't necessarily like wearing a mask. However, I got to stay safe. I got things to do tomorrow. I'm not trying to die today. So, you know what I'm saying? If wearing a mask is what's going to keep me safe, whether I like it or not, child, listen, I'm going to have to wear it and make it be a part of my outfit. And like other people were saying, to get them in every color and all these different things to make it coordinate with what you got going on. It is all good. I am not mad at you. Do what you got to do to stay safe, as well as be considerate of those around you. That's the other thing. We got to be considerate of people around us, and just like when you're driving. One of you guys said, when you're driving for you and the people around you. You're wearing a mask for you as well as for those around you. So, yeah. So thanks, Yolanda, for bringing that story to us. COVID is not over. It's
No.
not over.
No.
And we've got to be smart. We've got to be vigilant. We've got to act with love and kindness. And wearing a mask is an act of love and kindness during this season.
I love that idea, Detail, of getting them. A lot of people are doing that, getting coordinated. There's people like Ja'Cory's mom. I don't know if Ja'Cory's mom is still making the masks, but she whipped out her sewing machine and she started making masks, like good quality masks. So I don't know if she's on, I didn't necessarily see her, but, get you some fabric and take it to somebody that's making masks. I mean, coordinate, like have fun with this thing. It's really all perspective. You know what I mean? It's all perspective. You can look at it as, an opposition, or you can look at it as an opportunity. It's really all in your perspective.
It's fine. Yeah. Like my mom, when I was traveling with Kevin Lemons and her caller, my mom said, "You don't have a mask with Michelle on it." So Michelle Obama. Listen, I totally agree with Ashlyn. It is totally what you make it. And the other part is, again, this is my mama. So the reason I talk about my mom, like, because she's, I talk to the girl every day. But I think the other part is, you ever said, I wish I had another day? Oh, I wish there was 48 hours in this day. You right now have a lot of time that you didn't have before. We don't know how long this time is going to last, right? So use the time. Start a business. Make time with your children. Start a garden. I mean, you can keep complaining, or we can keep complaining, or we can do something with the time that we've been given. So there's been a lot of loss, but there can be a lot of gain. So let's not just sit around and just complain. Start something, start a business. T-shirt businesses are flying, like people are, and it doesn't have to be hard, right? And so there's t-shirt business, there's mask business. People are selling glasses and makeup. Yep, people are still putting makeup on at home. People are going virtual. There's so many ways to make money. And so that's another way to look at that, instead of just feeling like, you just got to be in the house. Now, we're not encouraging that you just stay cooped in the house. Go outside, get some natural vitamin D. Take a walk. But there's other things you can, and you don't have to put on the pounds, right? You can get out, you can get walking. We're just encouraging you to be careful.
Yeah. Most definitely, and I agree. And as you see, Allegra just, I want to put her comment on the screen that she lost her uncle in July of last year due to COVID. She said he contracted it in the hospital. He went in. He went in without COVID, but died from it. Got it on Wednesday, and by Monday, he was gone. The virus is absolutely real. I saw where Cedria Clark put on there that she lost her father due to COVID. And different people are making reference to this. My brother Maverick Howard, he says because of the virus, I pray more. I could just really stop right there. I ain't mad at you, brother. I pray more as well. He says I even rest and relax at home, something I never did until this happened.
Wow.
He said because when I step out of the house, the people are acting so strange until I don't come out unless I have to. Diamond Fee just chimed in and she says, I've lost 40 pounds since COVID due to walking every day.
I found it. I just
Wow.
want her to know that I found it. You lost it, but
Oh,
I found it. If you want it back, just let me know. I'm glad to return to sender. I'm glad to. Lord have mercy. You know, that one of the scariest stories I saw at the beginning of COVID that like shifted my whole perspective was a young man who was living at home with his parents. And he went out. They told him to stay at home. We had a stay-at-home order. He went out to a party with a bunch of young people, contracted COVID, but he never had symptoms. He was asymptomatic, gave it to both of his parents, and both of his parents passed from COVID. That story I heard at the beginning of 2020, somewhere around April or May, something like that changed me. That was it. I was scared straight after that. So I talked to both of my kids. I was like, people are going to invite you to stuff. I implore you, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because you can be a carrier. That's when we started hearing like some people are actually carriers of it and they will never have any symptoms. But that one scared me straight. When I found out about that, I was like, nope, I'm good. I'm masked. What you need? Gloves. I got sanitizer. What else? What we need? What we need? Lysol. Yeah, all of that.
Yeah, and for all the 420 kids, I just want to help you.
Oh, Jesus. Come on, speak on it.
Stay. Look, we're not here to judge. Okay, at least I can say for me, I'm not here to judge. That's what you do. Live your life, but stay at your house. Okay. Today is 420, and the streets are gonna be filled with people doing what they do. Stay at your house.
Yeah.
It is not worth it being in the streets. Someone say, "Oh, people aren't doing that." Oh, yes, they are. I've seen plenty of YouTube videos where people are doing concerts of all genres. They're packed. People are doing these events. Listen, it's not worth your life.
Right.
Right. We're not talking about the drug. That's a whole different conversation. We're talking about just being out and not being responsible.
Yeah, most definitely. And so, as we try to get ready to close, we're almost at the end of the show, but I want to just say in closing of this segment, Yolanda brought up some great points. Ashton brought up some great points. Today is a great day. If you haven't been wearing your mask or you haven't been feeling comfortable, listen, today, turn over a new leaf today if you have to. Get you some masks, do whatever you got to do, color coordinate them, do whatever you got to do, but do what you can to stay safe, keep yourself safe, as well as those around you. I'll close with this. As you all know, a year ago when COVID first started, my son got COVID. And just like Ashton was just mentioned, he didn't have any symptoms, anything of that nature, other than he lost his taste for a couple of days, but he didn't get majorly sick. And, I think he got it from work. I don't know where he got it from, work or somewhere he was going. And we kept trying to tell him, son, just go to work and come home. Go to work and come home. Wasn't listening. Was going different places, hanging out. Next thing you know, he was quarantined for 14 days. So this thing is real. And, man, let's do all we can to stay safe. Last but not least, before we go today we're only doing an hour show. Those of you may have joined us late. Last but not least, Ashlyn, we got this whole case that's going on that is getting national attention. Everyone around the world is watching this case with Derek the Killer Chauvin, and we're at the end of it. We're waiting now for the jury to finish deliberating and to give us an answer or what they think is the right thing to do. I'm praying, literally, I'm praying that justice is served in this case. We've seen it happen before, where people have gone on these crazy rants when justice wasn't served. if we don't get justice in this one, I can't imagine the type of backlash around the country that we're going to see. Ashton, I know you got the story. Share with us what you can.
Yeah, they're in day 2 of deliberation. I think this is the 8th hour that they've been in deliberation. And speculation is if they don't come with a verdict soon in the next couple of hours, it means that they have a hung jury, which means that just one person, all it takes is one person to say that they can't convict. So that means that they will continue until they have, let's say there's one person, then the jury has an opportunity to give their side of it, deliberate among themselves. One of the most profound things that I heard was in the closing arguments, and forgive me, I don't know the prosecutor's name off the top of my head, but he said that you heard that somebody said George Floyd died because his heart was too big. But what we've seen looking at the evidence is that George Floyd died because Chauvin's heart was too small. And when I heard that, I was like, wow. You know, one of the things, again, I know we're short on time, but there was a 9-year-old on the scene that was screaming for the officer to ease up because the 9-year-old child saw that this officer was going to end this man's life. A child can decipher the facts and see that this was a crime. A child. It is so simple to see that this was a crime. This was a murder. Now, whether they decide to do it, they've got 3 options. They can go 1st degree, 2nd degree, 3rd degree. 1st degree is, I know what I'm doing and I want to do it. 2nd degree is, I kind of know what I'm doing, and I would do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. 3rd degree is like, I think I'm doing something wrong, and it didn't matter who was under my knee, because I don't really understand the severity of it. Those are the sort of the layman's terms for the 3 1st, 2nd, 3rd degree murder. They could do a combination. There could be multiples in here. He could be charged with 1st and 2nd. So it's going to be really interesting. They can also acquit. They could also appeal. There is speculation that Congresswoman Barbara, not Barbara Lee, my brain went blank. Our Congresswoman here in California went to Minneapolis and said that there needs to be unrest, that we do need to take to the streets and be more confrontational about this if the verdict goes another way. And they're saying now, because of that statement, that now there could be an appeal, that could be grounds for an appeal. So the jury's not supposed to be reading any news, watching any news. They're not supposed to be listening or talking to anyone about this case. Thank you, Maxine Waters. Thank you so much, Tracy and Patricia. But we serve a God who is just. And I know we all know what the verdict is, right? We all know what the verdict is. We know, we saw it. But what the jury comes up with and decides is going to be, we're going to wait and see. So we are, like I said, 8 hours into their final deliberation, and we will wait and see. There are people in the streets right now waiting for the verdict. Now, we all know what that means. That could be days and days and weeks of violence. It could be days and days and weeks of celebration. So we wait.
Yeah.
We stand still and know that I am God. I think that is the most appropriate scripture that we can all be meditating on right now. Stand still and know that I am God. And trust ourselves to know that no matter what happens, we will be okay. We will be okay. Trust ourselves. Don't put your faith and trust in man. Put your faith and trust in God, but trust yourself to know that we're going to be okay no matter what.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot that's going on, a lot that's happening. I am praying feverishly, fervently, that justice is served. We've seen things happen before, but the backlash to this one, if it's not done right around the country, I don't know. I don't even know if we'll be able to recover anytime soon from the backlash if this doesn't go the right way. So I am with you, Ashlyn. I'm with you, Yolanda. We're going to be praying that justice is served, that the right thing is done. Listen,
Let me say one last thing. I'm sorry, Dito. One last thing. Our president is on the side of our justice. This is a good thing. So our president is on the side of our justice. And so martial law and all those things that Trump probably would have done in this case, I don't believe are going to happen. So that is in our favor. Most definitely.
And that is good to know, and something that we definitely want to keep in mind. It's time for us to get ready to go. Again, we will be back next week at our normal time doing a full 2-hour show. But before we go, Yolanda, any closing comments, final thoughts?
Oh, don't forget today would have been Luther Vandross's 70th birthday. So listen to some Luther today. And hey, life is what you make it. It can either be wonderful or it can be dreary. No matter what you get, make it the best.
Most definitely. Ashlyn, closing comments, final thoughts.
Stand on what you believe and stand on God's promises.
That's good. I like it. I'm going to let Patricia Farr virtually close us out with an amazing statement that simply says, because God is the greatest power, we shall never be defeated. Great stuff, y'all. It's time for us to go to the next time on this same Shock Network at this same Shock Talk time. You know how I do. I'll
Blast.